أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Give everybody salams. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. And as always, we seek refuge with Allah for His guidance, His protection. With Allah's name, merciful benefactor, merciful redeemer. To all of you attending the Jumah services today, each and every one of you, I give sincere salams to you, men and women, businessmen, businesswomen, lawyers, college and university students, brothers and sisters, boys and girls. The praise and thanks are for Allah alone. We thank Him earnestly from our hearts, from our souls, for the gift, and He is a gift. Muhammad is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and blessing. And he is a model person, the leader of our community. And I say model human person who is Muhammad, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Name meaning one possessing an akhlaq, a character that is worthy of praise. That character in him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is worthy of praise, but he does not accept it. Huwa Muhammad. He is Muhammad, the model human being that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to us. He gifted him to us, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Noble, honorable human being, not godlike, not a god, not godlike, a human. And he said, as we have said here hundreds of times, probably thousands now, he said, Ana basharun mithlukum. I'm a human being like you. So that took him out of the God-like world. He's not to be seen as, like that. He's to be respected. That is Muhammad, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he took himself out of the image of being looked upon as some people look at Isa alayhi salam. Don't look at me like that. That's what he was saying. Don't look at me like, in plain language, don't do that. Ana basharun mithlukum. I'm a human being just like you. What was the difference between you and him, me and he? He received the whole of the Quran on his heart. He got the whole of the Quran on his heart. Ala qalbu, upon his heart. You didn't get it, I didn't get it. So this bashar, this human being, he got it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He received it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what made him par excellent. It said of his character, and the only request of this khatib, this teacher, this educator, this reminder, me as a brother, my only request at any Jumah, I would expect it from anyone giving a khutbah that I went to hear. My only request, please listen. And don't listen with a critical ear. Don't do that. Listen with the ear of a human being. That first nature that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you to be normal, to be natural. Listen with that ear, and I guarantee you, as your brother, and as a student of religion, and a student of students of religion, I guarantee you, if you listen to me, not me per se, but only when I recite from Quran and when I give explanations from Quran. If you listen to that, then you will be a person that has been blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I will get barakah too for just relaying the message, even if I don't understand it myself. But if I relay the message, you understand it, you get the barakah. So my only request is, in this short time, please listen with the ear of a human being. That makes sense? And this one has been said before too, but what are you going to do? You're going to recite something other than Quran? Nah, I'm reciting Quran, man. That's where the gold and jewelry is. That's where the rubies are. So Allah says, and you know this, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرُ اللَّهُ. I'm going to repeat half of it. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. And they schemed, and Allah schemed. But Allah brought their scheming to a naught. That's somebody else doing elaboration on it. It doesn't say that. Somebody's elaborating and taking people's minds somewhere else. You know, that's their tafsir, I guess, of that, based upon the reason for the revelation. But that's not what Allah says in the Quran. Allah says, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. Translation. And they planned, they made plans, or they schemed. وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ. And Allah planned. Do you think that Allah is going to put himself on the same level with human beings while they're scheming, and he's going to do a scheme because they did a scheme? You think Allah is going to put himself, reduce himself to that level? Here's some human beings, oh, they're scheming. Oh, I'm going to scheme too. Allah is not like that. Huwa al-Allah. He's al-Allah. He's above all of that. He doesn't put himself on a human level and see somebody scheming and say, I'm going to scheme as a reaction to their scheme. No. You don't give a just estimate, Allah says, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is above all of this stuff that we see and we don't see. You see all this stuff here? This stuff? You got it in your stuff? You got it in your car? That's stuff. You left your house? That's stuff. You know, rode on the road, the street, that's stuff. Looked at the trees, that's stuff. Worked in the cubicle or whatever in the building. I know you probably got a big office. But you're working in the office, that's just stuff. That's all it is. He's above all of it. He created all of it. Don't see yourself housed. You sell houses. You know what I'm talking about. A person's in the house. He's locked himself in the house. Can't get out. Don't see yourself housed in stuff. Your mind is more noble than that. Your mind is more noble. Your heart, your soul is more valuable than stuff. So Allah says, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرُوا اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. And they schemed and Allah schemed. And even this addition, and the translator says, and I love all of the translators. I love all of the translators. I love all of the translations of the Quran. But sometimes they add stuff. You ever seen a Quran like that? Well, this is just not what it said in Arabic. This man has taken a tafsir and gone somewhere, taking you down to the railroad track somewhere. That's the reason why it's very important for you and me and everybody in here. Those of you who were born Arab and speaking Arabic, you blessed. Double, triple blessed. Because you don't have to wrestle with the concepts, to get to the goodie of the concept. Now, I'm going to read straight through this because I have to make a pause and I want to make sure that I get what I wanted to say done today, as opposed to me saying, man, I didn't get to this, I didn't get to that. Listen, what's going on? This is an update. Just raise your hands on this, and most of you probably knew it. But did you know that they're not having any Jumah in Iran? No Jumah. Prayers are questionable. No Jumah. Some parts of the world, they're demanding that people walk 3 to 5 feet away from each other. No Jumah in Iran. China, if you were to look on the status map of the global health organizations, you will see by indication of red, are you listening? That China is covered with red because of this coronavirus that has dominated that country. So they plan and Allah plans. And Allah is the best of planners. So I would say, I don't know about you, but I do know about you because you're a believer. You're believers. I don't know about you, but I don't. No. You are believers. And the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be followed by the believers. Right? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. China is covered. 17 states in the United States has situations, population affected by the coronavirus. And the people who produce Corona beer is going out of business. Gone out of business. That's just a little humor, but it's real. So I'm stopping there. I want us to think about this. May Allah bless us as individuals. Ameen. Bless our families. Ameen. All of our children and grandchildren, if we have any. Ameen. Our aunts, our uncles, mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers. Ameen. والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I greet you again, dear believers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So the only request of this khatib is that you listen conceptually to the words, especially when they're coming from Quran and all Sunnah, and try to be patient with me as I begin to kind of give some concepts based upon the effect of the Quran on my life and on my mind, on my thinking and on my spirituality, and based upon the leadership that I have been given, I have had in the past and in the present. So what is your role as a man? You heard me say so many thousands of times, Allah created you Khalifa. I may give a quiz today after Jumah. I may stand at the door and say, what is a Khalifa? Each one of you, give me the definition of Khalifa. I may start doing that. If Allah let me live, give me strength, as my mother used to say. And because the community has to start being accountable for what they say they believe in. What we say we believe in, I have to be accountable for my belief. I need to know what this is. And I also need to know, and you need to know, how to live this life better. Each day that you live and each day that I live, I should be living better. I shouldn't be living worse. My life should be better. The life of a plant is better every day. The life of an animal is better and more healthy, especially he's growing up and coming into his own, etc. Should be better, should be more wholesome every day. You should be better every day. You see, even a person who's reached the peak, they say, in this world, I wish I could talk to you for 10 hours. I know you don't want to hear me for 10 hours. But some doctors, not all of them, they say that the first 40 years, your body will take care of you because of its health. The second 40, you're going to have to watch it, buddy. You have to have those regular checkups, check the blood pressure and what kind of food you're eating. Go by Chamberlain's. Anybody know what Chamberlain's is? Go by the health food store, get you some nice vitamins. Make sure that all of those elements are in there. If you don't, then it don't have to be the coronavirus. It could be any kind of virus that come in on your immune system. If your immune system is low, then it's gonna be hard for you to kick off that sickness. Everybody, you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Please listen conceptually, and I'm gonna try to. But we're men. We are men. We're no longer, except for the young ones that are here now, we're no longer boys. We're men. And men / and I'm saying this on purpose, women work to fulfill the share of Allah in our lives. You have to know what that is, the will of Allah. What is the will of Allah in your life? We should think about that. Now, this is not a khutbah where people are supposed to be going to sleep. This is not one of those kind of khutbahs. Never ever at Masjid Al-Haqq as long as I'm here. Because the mind and the heart and the soul should be working in harmony with one another. Your mind, man, should be in contact with what your heart wants. And that's hubbullah, love for God. And that soul is in there celebrating the praises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because you are thinking, you are dhikring about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That soul is saying, alhamdulillah. And the heart is rejoicing because all of them they're lined up with one another. The heart, the spirituality, the nafs, the intellect, that aql, the thinking capacity. Oh my, all of them are lined up. It's saying, I am one man. I am not a man divided within himself. You know the old trick of the shaitan is to divide and conquer. Well, it's not talking about dividing the people physically like that. It's talking about dividing you from the inside out. If he can divide your heart from your brain, he got you. If he can divide your brain from your soul, he got you. It's talking about an internal division. You have to do an inventory of the condition of your heart, the condition of your spirituality. You may be low in spirit and need to order some spirituality. How do you order spirituality and get qareeb lillah, close to Allah? Do extra sunnah rakahs, do extra du'as. Look at that shelf of inventory of your spirituality and bring it up. Bring the taqwa up. Bring the ilm up. And have all of them, inshallah, communicating with one another so they can all be there in a row saying Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. This is the life of believers. I'm not talking about the life of people that's half dead. Talking about the life of believers. Talking about the life of people who love Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and want to really truly follow him. You know, we're not talking about half gangster Muslims. You know what I'm saying? I know half gang. I follow Muhammad, but you know I'm kind of like gangster. Well, where you see that in the Quran? It's not there. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, no, I know what I'm saying, nothing. The Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Ana basharun mithlukum, I'm a human being like you, and Allah has sent me, meaning Muhammad, as a model for you. Never have you seen in the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's saying, I'm kind of like gangster. It's not in his life. So if you got it like that, and you're bringing that along, you're dragging that along, you're putting water in oil. And we are going to have to be accountable. We're going to have to be accountable for that. When we go, alhamdulillah, and stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Yawmul Qiyamah, you know, I'm not saying that because I don't know. No one's been there and come back. But I would think that there is a way of monitoring the soul that has just stood up before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah don't need no wand. Stand up for a second. Stand up. You don't need no wand. You going in the club and then you wanding the person like that. Allah don't need that. Have a seat. Allah already know because He is Al-Alim. He's all-knowing. The condition of the soul from birth to death and its abode in the grave, He knows that too. And He knows the exact time that He's going to be bringing the resurrection and have the people to stand out on the plain before judgment. Allah knows that. They don't give no just estimate of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Huwa al-Qawi. Powerful Lord. Cannot be affected by anything. The coronavirus is after us. It's not after Allah. Are you here? Tariq, you hear me? Can you hear me back there? The coronavirus was something that was produced by the negligence of this person that was supposed to be managing this world, the Khalifa. He messed up in his management. And because the management skills have not coated the globe, you got a weak spot. The immune system over there in China got weak. And I know what people say. That's manufactured by man. Just like the other one was manufactured. So what? Whoever manufactured it, that's a weak spot. And the man was not managing his life or her life where it owned up to the excellence of its existence as a human being. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So I'm going to read this fast. Please listen. Our responsibility, brothers and sisters, when we were born, and every man and every woman all the way back to Adam and Hawa, peace be upon both of them, was to beautify the earth and to manage the earth and to look after the earth. As a man and a woman looks after his family and his community. But you got so many different types of lifestyles in the world right now. They say everything is okay now. And they did the same thing during the life of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Quick example, you know the history. They used to march around the Kaaba naked. Yeah. With the images of the genitals of the male and the female walking around the Kaaba. I don't know what they was chanting. I guess it was a rap or something. They were just, yeah, this is our God. And then they used to make gods, as you know, out of oatmeal and wheat. They get some wheat, oatmeal, they get it together, they churn it up. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Churn it up. Then they say, well, what kind of image I want to make my God out of this time? Give me some wheat and give me some barley. I want to make this a strong God. Sit it out in the sun, and then they got to go on a trip. What am I going to eat? Eat that God over there. You see how low-minded people had become during the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's nothing new. You hear me? Nothing new under the sun. It's just put in a certain way, in a different time, different theater, different place, different set of human beings, but the same things are going on right now. Now, here's the protection. Because I don't have time to go through all of these things. Read about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he said about plagues, and read about, as one of the scholars talked about recently, I think it was Umar Suleiman. He was talking about read about the three questions that the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless his community with. We don't have time to go into that right now. He asked Allah three questions. He granted him two and didn't grant him the last one. The last one was, oh Allah, please don't let us be destroyed in disunity from the inside out. Allah didn't grant him that one. Allah said, I'm protecting you from plagues. I'm protecting you from being wiped out by your enemy. Now you are responsible for protecting yourself from being wiped out by yourself. Can't you take on that much responsibility? So read about it, observe it. And if the virus comes, according to Quran and Sunnah, if the virus comes and it overtakes everything within your eyesight, and it affects you, your family, and everything else, the best way to look at it is that you have become a martyr. Fi sabilillah. That's how you look at it. You don't want it to happen. You understand? But look at it like that. That you were always ala sirat al-mustaqim up until the last moment. And man or woman is plagued because of their negligence of implementing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran. This is what Allah told the wives of the prophets. And now I'm using a concept. When we speak about America, we don't say America he. We say what? America she. Because society among the learned, represents a woman. And the woman gives birth to the society. The man don't give birth, woman gives birth. So conceptually, you talk about a country, you talk about a continent, a situation, as you address it as she. You got it? Now, don't throw tomatoes at me, because I understand the concept I'm using. The instruction of Allah to the wives of the prophets, of the Prophet Muhammad, that is, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The instruction: and abide quietly in your homes. You listening? Says, you are not like any other people. Talking to the wives of the Prophet. Now, I ask you as a person, as a Muslim, when you became a Muslim, you became different than those people that you grew up from, right? You became a different person. You're not that person. So Allah is saying in the Quran that you are not like any other people. You're special. So look at the advice that he gave to the wives of the prophets. And look at this as a contrasting advice that he would give to his Jumah, his Ummah. In this case, it's not talking about, I wouldn't say that, you know, go home and don't come out. No, I'm not saying that. The home of your hubb, of your love, your qalb, your heart, the home of your heart, that's where you live. Your nafs is there. And Allah is telling them, don't flaunt, don't flex, don't flaunt your charms as they used to flaunt them in the old days. Don't carry yourself like you used to carry yourself in the old days. Oh, it might be new days. I don't know what you're doing now. I don't know. Allahu Alam. Allahu Alam. But Allah is telling them, do not flaunt your charms as they used to flaunt them in the old days of pagan ignorance. And be constant in salah. So in this time, well, we're being challenged by all kinds of situations, not only Islamophobia. Look, this coronavirus has got the mind of the Islamophobes off of Islamophobia. They wish that they had developed a coronaphobia to get rid of the coronavirus. They should have been spending all that time working on the coronavirus. They spent all that time on Islam, trying to distract people from getting in contact with Islam. SubhanAllah. Wrong virus they're putting out there. This is instruction to the wife. Listen, watch this. And be constant in prayer. Listen, I think it was Khalid or somebody who sent a message over the group chat that said, talking about 2 rak'ahs sunnah before the Fajr prayer. Extraordinary. So we're going to be asked about our salat. That's the first su'al. The first question from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that He's going to ask us what was the condition, what is the condition of our salat. So the guidance that Allah gave to the household. Fi buyutikunna. The house of the women of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, do not flaunt your charms, do not flaunt them like you, don't be over excessive, and be constant in salah, and render your purifying dues. If you're saying zakat, give in zakat, give in zakat. And pay heed unto Allah's apostle, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Allah only wants, listen, to remove from you all that might be despicable. Allah wants us to be purified, not just by washing, wash your hands every time you, no, not only that, wash your nafs, wash your heart, wash your desires for those things that you know that you shouldn't be desiring. Rid yourself of that, alhamdulillah, and you will be among those who are mutahhareen. Mutahhirun, those who have been purified. This is what Allah wants. Allah wants all of us to be purified. Isn't that what they tell us? You don't want to be affected by this virus? Purify yourselves. Now I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't be giving lessons in the White House for wudu and ghusl, istinja. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Well, this is how the Muslims pray. But wait. Before they pray, they do this and they do this. They wash your right hand, right? They do all of this stuff. We need to be copying some of that stuff because they really purifying themselves. I would not be surprised if people were not looking at the methodology in which Muslims clean themselves. We already had the answer to America's problems. They just had to give up their Islamophobia. So in my closing, alhamdulillah, O you members of the Prophet's household, purify yourself to the utmost purification. Tathiran, beautiful Arabic in the Quran. The requirements, my suggestions from the Corona facts, virus facts. You can get these anywhere online. They suggest that you get your flu shots, but that's questionable. We have someone on Monday night at the Knowledge for Living building that's going to give health advice for people who want to just be natural. You don't want to be unnatural. Number 3, cover your cough or your sneeze. Stay home if you're sick. For people who may be traveling, you travel at your own, cognizance, as they say. And stay up with the latest research and information on this. Don't go somewhere and go in a cave and all of that kind of stuff. And we're not doing that. But one of the methods, and I'll share this with you too, one of the methods that one of the Khalifa, I forget which one, the community was affected by a plague, small place, so he told them to go to the hills. This is his advice. Go to the hills and separate yourselves from one another until it subsides. So don't be among heavy populations. That's what my advice to you based upon what I'm reading through this hadith. Don't go among heavy populations. And if you get sick, stay at home and make sure that you, alhamdulillah, get the advice, go directly to your physician, inshallah. So may Allah forgive us all, Ameen.
Ameen.
And may Allah protect us all, Ameen.
Ameen.
And may Allah guide us all, Ameen.
Ameen.
Every member of our family, Ameen.
Ameen.
Those who are present, Ameen.
Ameen.
And those who have gone before us into the grave, Ameen. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك الرحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. إقامة الصلاة.